special place.
Yeah.
You know, I started teaching 20 years ago. And this was one of the first places I started, not in this building, oops, sorry, but over at H building. So I have very fond memories of the World Bank. When I hear World Bank, I get very tingly. I get real tingly inside when the World Bank. It's very special for me because a lot of my learning was at the World Bank back in the 90s. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just make something up. But it was a good learning experience for me. I started with David Sugar at Fit Physique, and she said, you need to go to World Bank. Rock off to the side, tick-tock. Knee box step. Revolving door. Lunge around the world. Leg curls for now. On the floor, mambo cha-cha. This is where you get to mentally rest. 4, 3, get ready for that rock off to the side. Rock off to the side. Overhead. Now the next time we do overhead, it's going to be a backstroke. Across.
Generally, with those equations, a 150-pound man is what they use for all of the treadmills,
ellipticals, yes.
They've actually done, what do you call those studies? Barometric studies where they actually get true energy expenditure. So they derive from that.
Which is why, like, one of my heart rate monitors on the treadmill is much fewer calories.
Yes.
Those calories on the treadmills.
Yeah, plus minus, we got a really, this is guesstimation, you guys, okay? Just to give you an idea, so you have something to grab, okay? I mean, we're not counting into every 5 calories, but yes, they're absolutely good point, yeah? All right, so...
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
On water, because we talked about too much of a good thing, and we were having this debate.
I'll get to the water, we're heading there.
We're going to get to
hold your question, okay? Snacks. Snacks.
Triple me right here. Okay, you ready?
learn about bike setup. There are 2 reasons you want to make sure your bike is set up appropriately. 1, to prevent injuries, and 2, to burn more calories. When you have a bike setup that's appropriate for you, you'll recruit more muscle fiber and burn more calories. But let's talk about exactly how to set up your bike. You want to stand to the side of your bike and raise the knee that's closest to the bike. And where that hip crease is about where you want your seat level to be. So this one is a little high for me. I'm going to adjust that seat level, bring it down by taking this knob, loosening it, lowering it to what I think is about the right place, tightening it, and then there it is, about the right height. Next I'm going to sit on the bike, and that'll give me a better sense of whether this is an appropriate height for me. Go ahead and put your feet into the little cages, or if you're using bike shoes, go ahead and snap in. Now you can see that when I put my feet all the way down to 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock, so straight up and down, I've got a slight bend in the back of my knee, and that's exactly what I want to have. Because if I go too far down, I'm blocking out my knee, and that could cause some stress. If the seat is too low, I'll never fully extend my leg, and therefore I'll never really recruit enough muscle fiber. And also, I could also hurt my knee by doing that. Now, the other adjustment you want to make is whether the seat is forward or back enough. And the way you determine that is take your feet and put it in a position of 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, or as if you're standing on an invisible floor. You drop a plumb line from this knee all the way down, and that plumb line should actually hit somewhere in the shoelace zone. So let's take this one. Go straight down, and you can see that it's going way beyond my foot. So I need to move my seat backwards by doing that. So I'm going to get off the bike again, and here's the adjustment for that. It's right back here on this bike. I'm going to move it back to where I think should be appropriate. Tighten it. I'm going to get back on and give it another try. I might have to go through this a couple of times. And now let's do that again. I'm going to take it first into 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and that looks better. I'm dropping that plumb line, lands right in the shoelaces. Let's go back to that first adjustment. 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock, still have the bend in the knee. So this looks like it's a good height for me and a good position forward and back. The other adjustment I'd probably want to make is my handlebars. And if you're an experienced rider or have a lot of energy this day, you might want to make your handlebars lower by just adjusting with this knob. Or if you want to try it a little easier today, take the handlebars up. Whatever is most comfortable for you and your back. Just a couple other things to remember. The red knob or the red lever, depending on which bike you have, is your emergency brake. Be sure to use it if you ever need to stop suddenly. And finally, make sure you have some water and a towel to wipe off yourself when you get wet and you have something to drink. Lastly, just know that the bike setup you use here is the same setup you'd use for an outdoors bike. Thanks a lot.
Come on. Take it. Let's go. All right. I want you to go and shake this. Come on. Shake it. Come on. Let's go. Shake it. Come on. I like shake this. Come on. All right, here we go. Let's go. Come on. All right, sweetheart. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Come on. That's right. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Let's go again. Last one. Come on. All right. Let's go.